At false promotion here. You know, Sean, I really want to go after this bill in the way that that just people need to understand. The International Energy Agency, which is a big international group of folks who have a lot of power. In July, they put out a supply chain report for electric vehicles. This is what the world's going to need just to meet 2030 goals. We're going to need the world 50 more lithium mines, 60 more nickel mines, 17 more cobalt mines. So these mines come from, the cobalt comes from Congo. You ever see videos of those kids, 7-year-old kids in filthy water for about 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, no education, pennies on the dollar. The lithium, some comes from Australia, some comes from Chile. You got to poison the waters to get it out of there. Some comes from Russia. Indonesia, you got the nickel. And the reason I'm bringing this up is there are 5 stages to getting from the raw material to the finished product. So when we talk about saving, just think if you were, even if you love the climate issue itself, the president is lying to you. This bill does nothing on the climate side. What it means is that we're going to continue to strip mine the planet. We're going to strip mine the planet and poison the waters. So as you go along through the process, you got the materials, you start to process it. Russia takes a greater share. I mean, China takes a greater share. Then you do the cell components. China takes a greater share. And then you get the batteries. This is the most important part to remember. When the White House talks about energy security, I guess they're talking about those batteries. Right now, China has a 77% share. In a couple of years, they'll have an 80% share. Our share will go from 9% to 6%. The only part of this equation that we play a role in is at the very end of it. We buy these things. And you make the point already. We have the federal government giving money to the richest Americans, college grads who live in urban settings, to buy these cars. They can afford them on their own. They don't need any incentive. Certainly, they don't need the taxpayers' money, someone driving a cab for a living. So this whole thing is a complete farce. There's nothing economic about it, and it does nothing, zero, to even save the climate.
All right, so you're the only other person I know that's been talking about this. You're 100% right. Now, an electric vehicle, on average, costs 20 grand more than a gas-powered vehicle. You're right. So you have to mine for nickel, for cobalt, for manganese, and all these minerals. You use big, heavy equipment to do so. It's not environmentally friendly in and of itself. Then you make these batteries, and how do you charge them? 88% of our grid, our power grid, is not about renewables. Only 12% is.
Sure.
So you're using natural gas and coal to charge your electric vehicle in your garage or your charging station. And you pay more for that as well. So the bottom line is they're still being fueled in that sense from Mother Earth and fossil fuels. And, of course, you're right. You know, mining all of these areas and destroying the environment in that process.
Yeah, we're not drilling a hole in the ground and going, you know, a few miles down and cracking rocks. We are stripping the planet and poisoning the waters. And here's the crazy thing. We just have to look to Europe. France and Germany, their electricity rates will be 1,000% higher this winter, 1,000% higher than the average price for the last 10 years. So there are costs to this. It's not magic fairy dust. We just don't say, oh, it's an EV, like some Democratic Congress people believe. I'm so glad I got an EV. I'm not suffering. Of course you're suffering. And by the way, so is a small business that can no longer afford their electricity bill. This thing is absolutely devastating from one end to another. All this is a money transfer. That's all this is. We are transferring money to the richest Americans out there, progressives who vote for